Hello everybody, this is Simon with Let's Play Sonic Unleashed. It has been a while since we had a proper Act 2 at night, because we did a lot of Spagonia, last thing that we did, and Spagonia is unique in that it does not have a second night act despite having 3 day acts. It's the only country, keep wanting to say world or level, but no, it's a country in this game. The only country that only has 4 main levels. All the other countries are either 3 for smaller countries or 5 for larger countries. Have I said that on video before? Doesn't matter. Let's get into this stage. This stage is a piece of shit and I don't like it at all, but you're going to suffer with me. Isn't that great? For the first run we're going to basically see all of what it has to offer in excruciating detail, and then I'm going to do an efficient run again, which is going to be the S-rank run, and I'm probably mostly going to stay silent for that one because the stage definitely speaks for itself. So if you just want to enjoy the music, then I'm just going to turn it up a little bit for you and you can see what it's about. So this stage is mostly a puzzle stage because it asks you to put these colored stones into their receptacles. How do you do that, you ask? Oh well, I'm glad that you asked. You do this by balancing over boards. It is also mostly a balancing stage, and balancing in this game sucks. Now this first part is the only one where the camera is annoyingly artificially slanted to a weird angle, so that's the one thing the stage has got going for it. Otherwise, it is mostly this. You find a stone, you balance it over a board, then you put it in, then you spawn some enemies with weird triggers, kill all of them, can keep going with some more balancing and or otherwise awkwardly getting the stone from A to B. It's not only balancing, it's other annoying stuff as well. By the way, have I already mentioned how good the charge up spin move is? Because boy is it great. This basically replaces for me picking up enemies and then doing these spin around moves with them, and it has only taken, you know what, 30 videos for me to get the high enough combat score for that. I could always get more combat more earlier, but I'm trying to spread the new moves apart a little, so the new moves have a bit of a chance to shine and are not immediately supplanted by other new ones. Anyway, I hate this part here as well. This is one of the ones that killed me so often when I first played this, because you don't have a double jump if you're carrying stuff. I keep forgetting, and these jumps really look like you should have a double jump, but you know, you don't, and this is just like super duper annoying. Anyway, let's kill these guys really quick, and I'm leaving this in again deliberately to show that yes, you have to do this after the checkpoint every time you do screw up the platforming, and it's really easy to screw up the platform because, as I said, it sucks ass. Fortunately, very fortunately, this is actually the only time in this recording I'm going to die to that. Because I am immediately figuring out what you have to do. Go to the very edge and jump just half a second later than you think you might have to jump. Like so. And it's nerve-wracking every time. It is so bad. Here's a full Unleashed juice for whatever reason. You don't need that. There is also another secret hidden behind there, a medal that you have to hang over, which we're going to see in the S-rank run. But maybe the barrel is supposed to be a hint for that anyway. We're done with that, and now there is another thing that the level is happy to repeat. These vases in the way, which you have to kill first, so then you can carry the stone through the saws that are very annoyingly grinding the sound. And this is not hard. It's slightly annoying, but if the whole level was that, I would be perfectly fine with it. But sadly, the level is a little bit more than that. Wow, that was a very good charge-up punch. So this is also one thing that I want to avoid by getting new moves constantly, is that I do not get stuck on using the last move all the time, because I tend to do that a little bit, like in my Mega Man videos, get a new special weapon, use that exclusively for the next stage. So I'm trying to force myself to vary it up a little bit and not get stuck on, oh yeah, this works quite well once, and then I keep using it all the time, even though the situation does not account for it. And there is another wave of enemies spawning here. Oh joy, because we didn't nearly have enough combat yet. And yeah, You can use Unleash here, I guess, but I mean, the first small amount of enemies should already have given you enough, and yeah, fortunately, the finishing moves will always deposit you back on solid ground where you started, so that's nice, because that looked a little bit nerve-wracking, didn't it? But it's not a big deal. And yeah, we still haven't gotten another checkpoint, so going back to the last obstacle and having to re-kill all of those dudes would not be very fun, you know. Anyway, I found the hidden stone already, so let's put this one in here, activate these platforms, another nerve-wracking series of jumps because you don't have a good shadow, and the camera is insistent on being this weird angle here at the very least, and again you can't double jump, something that you have relied on for quite a while. The one thing that you absolutely positively have to know for that, and this is something that I've said in the first Apotos video, but it's been a while, you can run while you're carrying something. You can hold down the right trigger or the left trigger, doesn't matter, and then Sonic goes faster. And I feel like this is absolute key to getting onto and off to those other platforms, because otherwise you will probably fall all the time or have to be basically frame perfect. And you don't have to do that, you just have to know that you can sprint while carrying something, and this will get you, I think, a little bit further. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it does. And yeah, there's another wave of these annoying little buggers here as well, because we really needed more of them. This is not an obstacle, this is just wasting my time. This is part of why the stage is so annoying. If it was just balancing and carrying the stones, I would be like, okay, I guess. Yeah, I can do that. But it's also these fights that are absolutely nothing special in between, in these extremely boring arenas where, yeah, you can get some upgrades here on the side, but who needs the shield power up against these small annoying bozos? And yes, there are 3 stones on this platform, and yes, we are going to need all of them across the most annoying balancing segment yet. Joy! Yeah, the one thing that has, again, a little bit of a saving grace is that you can, in fact, sprint while carrying these things, so there is no special balancing animation while you are carrying these things, it's just tight, so it is perversely easier and quicker to carry something on the balance beam than just going over it, because if you're just walking, then Sonic will do this annoying side shuffle thing, and it will take you forever to go across because you can't really shortcut, though admittedly you can do shortcuts by double jumping and then grabbing onto the sides of platforms. That is something that you can do, yet you can't do while you're carrying stuff, because again you can double jump. It's still not very enjoyable in the slightest, and as we have seen, we have to do this quite a few times. And yeah, first of all I gotta kill these hornets, and there is a second wave now with the red ones, which again, very enjoyable. Now at this point I don't really struggle with them that much, because I know now how to use air combos and how to use the wrestling moves and stuff like that. See? Like that, easy enough. That always kills them if you do that, even from full health, so that's a very, very good saving grace. Sometimes it's a little bit annoying to grab them, but I'm getting better at this. But you know, if something like this happens, then there's just not much you can do. But it's fine. But I do strongly remember when I first played this level, then I was getting to this platform like, oh god, I have to do all of this balancing stuff, saw these hornets, and then they killed me. And I had to go back all the way to this last checkpoint and do this fight again. Then I die to the balancing, and then I have to do the fight again, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. And yeah, okay, so we have put one of the stones in. Now we need a second stone, and there is also a lever for some reason. I do know the reason. The reason is that they really want you to fight the hornets, because the hornets don't control the gate, it's the lever. And so while the hornets are harassing you, you probably won't be able to pull the lever. Now I activate the checkpoint here, just in case it does in fact save some of the stone placements, which it does, weirdly, somehow. And also it spawned another red stone over there, which is very strange, because that wasn't there at the start. I think something kind of broke in this part of the level, because it doesn't really make sense with how it is supposed to go, as we're going to see in the S-rank run at the end. Yeah, this is the kind of shortcut that I was talking about, and yeah, it teleported one of the redstones from this platform to the other platform. That's strange. Like, I didn't even realize exactly what happened, but yeah, I screw up here because my finger slipped, because the controller I'm using doesn't have notches, so holding straight to the right is not super possible and ideal, and I'm cutting out a little bit here. You get what I have to do. I have to rebalance through everything, and here I almost fall off, and I realize, like, oh, this is where one of the sun medals is, and this is in fact where in total 3 of the medals or something is hidden, just hanging off the side. And yep, as I said, there is 1 moon medal hanging off the side in a slightly more elaborate, as is tradition for the moon medals in night levels, setup. And now I realize, wait, that the door still isn't open. I have done everything, so I just re-put that thing in, and then it works. So yeah, something definitely screwed up here with me reloading after the checkpoint, and one of the stones was already in place, but not really. So yeah, that's very strange. Anyway, what I'm thinking here now is, like, wait a second, there's a bunch of high value enemies here. I just died, lost all my points, but what if I do all of these ones with a critical attack, get a whole bunch of points? Maybe that's enough. Let's see how it works out. Well, I've already spoiled it as a separate S-rank run. It's not going to work out, so why am I saying this like this? So, what this actually is going to do is that I am going to get a whole bunch of points, but it's not going to be quite enough. I do not actually know the point thresholds for every single level here, so maybe it was actually super far off, but sadly it just didn't quite work out. But also I feel like if it was close, then the game screwed me over a little bit, because I keep trying to grab the wizard, waiting for it to show up, and then it grabs him like this instead. Why? And while I'm faffing around, you might notice that the other guy is just gone. The fat guy has killed the small foot soldier, and now I can't get the points for him anymore. And again, if this was close, then I'm really pissed. I do kind of like the setup of this fight. I think this is kind of clever, that the small ones are distracting you, while the big one is spawning more dudes, and then the magicians can buff those up so that they're actually a huge danger. That is kind of a nice enemy setup, and we haven't quite seen it like that before, though a little bit in the actual Act 1 night level. Similar. Anyway, now I'm realizing, oh yeah, I never got that one extra red one, right? Because that other one was already set up for me inside. So where is the missing redstone? Does that mean that that redstone is actually back on the original platform? So I have to do all of this shit again. And I'm cutting that out for now, so I'm just doing a little bit of a shortcut here, and we are getting it from there, and now we have to go through there all the way back, and Jesus Christ, it is so annoying. This level is so bad. I don't like to complain too much, but I think it's mostly also levels like this why people dislike the Werehog. Like, they try it around a little bit, go in with an open mind, and like not accusing everybody of going like, oh yeah, the Werehog, it sucks and I'm never even going to engage with it. But at this point, like, I also was trying to go with an open mind the first time I played the game, but I wasn't super good at understanding the combat system, going for the nuances. Then I went to this level and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And yeah, I was much less charitable afterwards, but I feel like I'm pulling it off fine now, hiding my shame behind the brassiere, and again, I don't know the thresholds, maybe it's 150, but if it's 110, then I'm really pissed. But we will never find out now. Anyway, now I'm taking this opportunity to get a few more moves, because maybe they will help me on the replay, and I think we're going to see them. So the feral versions of the various hammers, as we just got them, they are in fact just adding an extra button to the button combo, the basic button combo. So X, 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 X 5 times, and Y, 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 Y 5 times again. So this just adds an extra super move at the end, which is in fact like a short version of the charge up move. So this makes a lot of sense. I'm looking that up here, but you can see it again. One thing I didn't realize is that here, back there, down there, the Where Wheel Rush, 4Y, 4X, that's also new. And as promised, I will now show the S-rank run, and there is nothing more to be said. So if you want to, you can turn off the video. I'm going to say goodbye in the end, but enjoy the music. See you later. Alright, wasn't that fun? And all I had to do was not die and do it efficiently, and it's still almost 9 minutes, by God. And I could have finished more of them off with finishes, so I could have gotten like 200,000 points, but it doesn't matter. God, this level is so awful, and I'm super glad that I only had to replay it one more times, because Jesus Christ, if I had to do that once more, then I would have... don't know what I would have done. I would not have stopped the LP, but I would have been mad and tried it another day for sure. Thank you very much for your attention.